Welcome to yoga. My name is Katherine. Today we are going to need a chair, a block, and a blanket or a towel. And we're going to start in a little bit of a supported back bend, like a chest opener. So please take your towel or your blanket and roll it up, fold it up until it's a little kind of thin strip, but it has a thickness to it. I would say about 2.5, 3 inches once you lay down on it. And you're going to sit in front of the short edge. You can have your block nearby. And so your bottom is on the floor, and then come on down, have your head supported by the blanket, and then your mid to upper spine is supported by the blanket. You can keep your knees bent, feet on the floor for just a few moments as your chest adjusts to this stretch. So it's a very gentle chest opener. Releasing the weight of your head back behind you. If you can, just let your head be just on the same plane as the rest of your spine. But of course, if you've got like vertigo or something going on where you need to make a pillow out of the blanket, you can do that too. Please do that. So bend your elbows and have your fingertips touch. Your palms are going to be facing the bottom of your mat, or facing your legs rather. And it's almost like you got like two little blades here. The pinky edges of your fingers are pointing towards the ceiling. And now let the fingertips separate as you bring the elbows to the floor on either side. And so this is just to help open the chest a little bit more, have the elbows either in line with the shoulders or just a little bit below the shoulders on the floor. And then go ahead and extend the arms left and right. So just straighten out the arms, extend them. Now the backs of the hands are on the floor. And maybe even press the backs of the arms into the floor to help draw the shoulder blades together underneath you a little bit more. And if you like, you can extend the legs long on the mat. And take a few nice, deep, slow breaths. And now, very intentionally directing your breath into your belly as you inhale, let the belly expand. And as you exhale, belly drops towards the floor. And see if you can just breathe out of your nose. And then inhaling belly, low ribs. Exhaling, low ribs, belly come down. And then inhaling belly, low ribs, chest. Exhale, chest comes down, low ribs, belly. One more time, inhale, belly, low ribs, chest. And exhale, chest comes down, low ribs, belly. I encourage you just to stay here, just breathing, doing that, filling from the belly to the chest breath. If you have neck stuff, so if you have some like a neck injury or something, I encourage you just to stay like this on the blanket. But if your neck's feeling okay today, I invite you to try out this stretch. So you're gonna just lift up your head up off the blanket and then bring it to the right side of the blanket and lower it to the mat. So the back of your head is on the mat, just to the right of the blanket. And just kind of a little different stretch in the left side of the neck. You can explore this stretch further. Maybe you want to turn your head slowly to the right. Some people find a deeper stretch if they turn their head slowly to the left. Take one more breath. And then bring your head back through center. And then lift it up very gently and place it on the floor to the left of your roll. Feel your breath. And maybe turning the head to the left or to the right. Feel it out. Take about one more round of breath. And then pick the head back up, place it on the roll. Inhale, reach your arms back behind you and take a big morning stretch. As you exhale, slowly roll off your blanket to one side, and you can remove your blanket off the mat and then come back through center. Bend the knees, place the feet on the floor, and begin to do some pelvic tilts. So exhale, press low back to the mat. Front of the pelvis lifts towards the face. Inhale, front of the pelvis tilts towards the legs. Low back comes off the mat. So as we tilt the pelvis back and forth, it changes the position of the spine. And if it feels good, as you exhale and low back comes to the mat, maybe you want to press the feet into the floor to really round out that low back. And then come to a neutral pelvis, so neither too tilted forward or back in the front of the pelvis. A little bit of a lumbar curve. And bring your hands to your low belly beneath your navel. Exhale, draw the low belly in. Feel the pelvic floor slightly engaged. Low ribs are pulling in. Keep breathing here. Locate your block. And of course, if you don't have a block, like a travel mug or something could work. And you're going to hold the block above the shoulders. And so the wrists are right above the shoulders. And keep the elbows straight. And I'd like you to part your shoulder blades and reach the block higher towards the ceiling. So the block's maybe just going like a centimeter or two higher away from the floor. And now slowly draw the shoulder blades together behind you as you sink the heads of the arm bones towards the floor. Block's going to come lower. And then lifting the block, part the shoulder blades. And then shoulders come to the floor as the block sinks towards the floor. So it's quite subtle. And basically what I'm trying to do is just have you feel your shoulder blades come off the back and on the back. Off the back and on the back. Doesn't matter how big this is. We're just kind of, motion is the lotion, lubricating that shoulder blade on the back of the ribs. Good. And then next time the shoulder blades are together underneath you, you'll just release the block. Bring your arms alongside the body. On an inhale, we'll lift our hips into bridge as we sweep the arms up and back behind us. Keep your gaze on the ceiling. Exhale, hips come to the floor, sweep the arms down alongside the body. Keep moving like that with the breath. Pushing the heels into the mat, the balls of the feet into the mat, and keeping the thigh bones parallel. It feels good. You can even slow your breath down. Nice and slow and controlled as you come up and down. Keep moving. Let's do about 3 more rounds of this. Strong legs. And then we're going to finish with our hips in the air and the arms back behind us. Keep your gaze on the ceiling. Take a round of breath in bridge pose with the arms on the floor behind us. And then keep the arms back behind you. And then exhale, just roll down the spine, rear to the floor. Now here you are, you're hanging out. You got the arms back behind you and bottom on the mat. Take a couple breaths here. Palms will face the ceiling as the backs of the hands rest on the floor. And then inhale, lift the hips once more. Exhale, sweep the arms up. And then alongside the body, rear on the floor. We're going to do a variation of Apanasana to help strengthen the core muscles. So once again, think about that neutral pelvis. Find a neither too sway in the low back or too rounded in the low back. Engage the low belly and bring the right knee into the chest. Now, we're going to do a different variation of Apanasana in that our left hand, so opposite hand to opposite knee, left hand comes to right knee. And then extend left leg long on the mat. Right hand can stay on the low belly for right now, just to help encourage you to draw it in. And then hover left leg just above the mat. Just hover it just maybe a few inches. As you do this, try to keep a neutral pelvis, neither rounding excessively or swaying in the back until you're feeling this work in your core. If you want more, you'd extend your right arm just to hover back behind you. So right arm overhead, hovering above the floor. Take a few breaths here. Those of you who have sensitive hands and knees, really take a snapshot of this pose because you're going to return to this pose as a variation because we're going to be doing some hands and knees stuff, and this is going to be an option for you. So this variation of Apanasana. Take one more breath, just hovering above the mat. Feel the core work. Good, and then exhale, left knee into chest. Right hand comes to the top of the left knee and extend right leg long. Left hand will come to your belly and draw the belly in. So we're working on that second side. And then as you're ready, hover that right leg just an inch or so above the mat. Keep a neutral level pelvis. So the tendency may be that your back really sways, the low back comes off the mat quite a bit. Please try to avoid that. If you're like, I got this, I want more, extend the left arm back behind you. Engage the core, low belly pulling in, feel your breath. About one or two more rounds. Good, and then both knees are into the chest. Give your shins a little hug or the back of the thighs a little hug. Rock a little side to side. Release your left foot to the floor and extend your right heel towards the ceiling. Bring your hands to the back of your right thigh. Let's just give the back of the right leg a little stretch. Create a wall for the thigh to press into with your hands. So hands are pressing into thigh, thighs pressing into hands, right? And if you can't reach that thigh, no problem. Just hold on to whatever part of the thigh that you can, and you don't have to do the counter stretch. That's totally fine. We're just looking to get a nice stretch in the back of the leg. Reach through the heel. Take 2 more rounds of breath. Good, and then release right foot. Let's do second side. Extend left heel. If you can, create a wall with your hands that the left thigh presses into. So back of the left thigh is pressing in, reaching through that left heel. Nice and easy breath. About 2 more breaths. Okay, release the left foot to the floor. Let's flip on over to our bellies and come up into Sphinx pose. Propping yourself up on your elbows. Now, if you have a real sensitive back today, you could do yourself a favor and just unfurl your blanket and have your tummy on top of the blanket. That'll help the back lengthen, the low back lengthen. You could also just come into crocodile pose as well. So maybe you just rest here and just enjoy opening up the front of the hips very gently by resting on the floor. Those of you in Sphinx pose, keep drawing your low belly in, lifting your heart, gazing forward. And check that the elbows are directly underneath the shoulders as you push the elbows down and lift up out of the shoulders. Nice long necks, soft face, soft jaw. One more breath. And then release back down to crocodile. Stacking the hands, forehead rests on hands, shimmy the hips, releasing the low back. Belly breath into the mat. Open the mouth, let it out. Okay, we're going to do a variation of locust. Bring your arms alongside the body. Bring your right cheek to the mat. Feet can come together. On an inhale, lift your right leg as you sweep your left arm out to the side and then forward. Now your chest is up off the mat, you're gazing forward, and opposite arm and leg are lifted. On the exhale, turn your head to the right, return body to the floor as left cheek touches the mat. Second side, left leg lifts, right arm sweeps out, and forward, gaze forward. Exhale, turn the head to the left, right cheek to the mat, body to the floor. So just like that, we're going to keep moving, alternating. The arms are kind of doing half a snow angel motion. And you turn your head away from the arm as it returns itself to the floor. Getting just a little bit of a stretch in the neck. Head turns away from the arm. Keep moving. Finding a nice even quality of strength in the back body as you lift. If the back's feeling really tight today, please don't be so concerned with how high you go. A few more rounds here. Okay, one more round. Good, and then pause. Once again, crocodile, stack the hands, take the feet wide, and shimmy the hips, forehead rests on the hands. Relax the bones of the body till they drop to the floor. Big belly breath in. Exhale out the mouth. Let's do that one more time. Big belly breath presses into the mat. Exhale out the mouth. Every last bit of breath. Good, and then return to normal breathing. And I'd like you to roll onto your right side. You can just prop yourself up on your right elbow, bending the right knees. And I'd like you to hop your elbow till it's right underneath your shoulder. You can bring your right hand into a little bit of a loose fist. And then from here, try to bring that right shoulder blade onto the back and away from the ear. So you're wrapping that right shoulder blade onto the back, just like we were earlier with the block when we were on our backs, drawing the shoulder blades together. And so hopefully you'll notice you come a little further away from the floor. Great. Now for some of you, this might be a really nice strengthener, just keeping the shoulder blade on the back and hanging out here for about 5 breaths. Others, you may find that you want to come into a like mini plank. To do that, you would walk your feet back behind you till your knees are in line, same plane as your right elbow. Left hand can come to hip, and then lifting up. Keeping that right shoulder blade on to the back. Some of you might even want to extend that left arm up towards the sky. Got about 3 more rounds of breath. Keep lifting those hips if you've chosen to do that. Meet yourself wherever you are today. Good, and then release that hip to the floor. Come on up to sit on your right hip, and we're going to come into sage variation, a variation of sage twist. So your top leg is your left one, and the shin will be cradled in the bottom, the arch of the bottom foot. Let me give you a little side view. There we are. And then sit up nice and tall for a moment. Okay, and then from here, you're gonna take your right hand, walk it back behind you. Left hand comes to the right top of the right knee. And we're using that straightened left arm like a lever as we rotate our heart and belly to the right. Head rotates to the right. Each inhalation getting taller. Last breath. Good, and then slowly untwist. Let's take a quick cobbler's pose, a nice quick loose one. So don't worry about the heels being super close to the groin. In fact, actually, I invite you to keep the heels a little further away as you just sit nice and tall for a moment. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you fold forward for a couple breaths. And now really let your belly and your pelvic floor relax here, almost like you're inflating the belly and the pelvic floor like a balloon with each inhalation. Good, and then come on up, and let's do it from the top on the second side. So you're gonna lay on your left side, just laying on the left side. Hop that left elbow underneath the left shoulder, and maybe you stay here, just wrapping the shoulder blades onto the back, really plugging the shoulder into the socket. Nice and open chest. Great place to be. Maybe you decide you'd like to do the mini side plank. You'll walk your feet back till the knees are more in line with that left elbow, and then lift the hips. Low belly's pulling in now. Maybe you want to reach that right arm up. Let's take about 4 breaths here. Lifting up out of the shoulder. And just notice we're asking the shoulder to work quite a bit, the core to work quite a bit, but is the face trying to work, right? Like, is the neck working? Like, see if you can notice anywhere that the tension starts to pool that's not needed. Got 1 more breath. And then release the hips to the mat. We'll come on up for a variation of sage twist. So you got your left hip on the mat. The top leg, your right leg, is cradled by the bottom foot. And just take a moment and sit up nice and tall. Good, and then now let's move into the twist. With this length of our spine, we'll walk our left hand back behind us. Back of the right hand comes to top of the left knee. Use that arm like a lever to help draw the shoulder blades down, lift the heart up as you turn heart and belly, head to the left. About 1 or 2 more breaths here. Good, and then slowly untwist. Take a quick stop in cobbler's pose again, a nice loose one. Maybe just sitting up tall, enjoying the symmetrical quality of this posture, or perhaps folding forward. Let's take a few breaths. Big, soft belly, relaxed pelvis. Good inhale, come on up. Walk your hands back behind you and kick your legs out long. Okay, now some of you might find just kicking out the legs long and leaning back on your hands, reaching through the heels, you get a nice breathable stretch. Please do that, okay? You want to keep your chest open, want to keep the feet flexed, the toes are peeling back. Some of you might be able to walk the hands forward a little bit, sitting up tall. And so sitting up tall is really what I would request that you do here, okay? If you come forward and the hamstrings feel so tight that you're rounding excessively, walk those hands back, no problem. Keep an open heart. Reach those heels, reach, reach, reach. Maybe reaching so much that the heels come off the mat. Couple more breaths. Knees and toes are pointing same direction up. Good, and then release. Place your hands underneath your knees and then just help them bend. Ooh. Okay, and now here's where we're gonna have 2 options. If you have sensitive hands and knees, please come back to the floor onto your back, and you're gonna do that variation of a Panasana where you're doing the core strengthener. This guy. Okay, if you're okay with your hands and knees, you're gonna come up onto the hands and knees. And we are going to do balancing cat. So take a moment, really spread the fingers really wide, pressing the base of the fingers into into the floor. And then drawing the low belly in, extend right leg back behind you. Now, of course, if you need to bring some padding underneath that left knee, please do. Try to keep a level pelvis and avoiding overswaying the back or trying to lift that leg too high. Keep, even if the leg doesn't lift that high, I would like to keep the pelvis level so that right butt cheek is in line with the left butt cheek. And for the last 2 or 3 breaths, if you want more, you'd extend opposite arm. So left arm reaches forward, keep pulling low belly in. It's almost as if you could lift your low back slightly towards the ceiling. And you're lifting the low back by drawing your tummy in. Good, and then release. Knee and hand to the mat. Step your right foot forward and slide your left hand onto a block. Left hand comes on the block. So here we are in a lunge. And extend your right arm up towards the sky. So a revolved lunge. take a look at your left hand and rotate your hand so that your middle finger is pointing away from your body, like directly away from that front foot. So you can draw the shoulder blades on the back. Now, those of you who are doing the Apanasana variation, right? Just take it into a twist. So release the body to the floor. Knee comes across the body. And right arm comes off to the right. Okay. About 1 or 2 more breaths wherever you are. Good. And then back to hands and knees pose if that's where you've been. If you're on your back, you're going to switch and do opposite Apanasana variation. So left leg comes back behind you, low belly in. Keep reaching through that heel. And once again, scan through the body. So you're working that left leg, you're working the left glutes here. Notice if the face is crunching up, maybe you could soften it. Keeping the hips level. And if you need more sensation, maybe you extend that right arm. About 2 more breaths. And then return to the floor, preparing for that revolved lunge. So the block's going to come over to the right side of the mat. Step the left foot forward. Right hand comes to the block, rotating the palm so that the middle finger of the right hand is pointing away from your front foot. And then extending left arm towards the sky. Keep pressing down into that left foot. Folks who are on your back in that Apanasana, you're just going to swing the knee over, taking it into a twist. Really lifting up out of that shoulder. Leaning the heart back. Last breath. Good, and then returning to the floor. So next we're going to either take a downward dog or a chair dog. So please take your pick. I will demo a chair dog. And taking a look at your feet, have your toes and knees pointing forward. Extending the hips away from the hands and really pressing the hands into whatever they're touching, the base of the fingers. Spread those fingers wide, particularly moving the thumb away from the index finger. Give those hands a nice stretch. You know, we've got our hands curled over computer mice, or, you know, we're scrolling. And so give that thumb, those thumbs a nice stretch. A couple breaths. Equal weight in all corners of the feet. Fabulous. Now, if your block's within reach, just grab it. We're all going to come to stand, holding our block. Take your time, finding a standing position. And finding mountain pose, toes forward, knees forward. Slide your block or your travel mud just above the knees and gently hold it there, just very gently. Make sure that your feet are wide enough to make room for the item that you're holding. And hands to hips, draw your low belly in and try to spiral your inner thighs just slightly towards the wall behind you. Okay, nothing's gonna move, none of your feet aren't gonna move, but you're slightly spiraling your inner thighs towards that wall behind you. Okay, good, and then lifting the heart, ears are in line with shoulders. And once again, bend your elbows, have your fingertips touch. And the elbows and the wrists, the shoulders are all in line. And now move the elbows away from each other. Fingertips are gonna part. Okay. Moving the shoulder blades onto the back, and see if this has caused your shoulders to come up real high on towards the ears. Bring the fingertips closer together again, and then see if you can relax. Keep the tops of the shoulders relaxed away from the ears, and then go back into it. And then swing the fingertips towards the ceiling. Now you're in a cactus position, gently holding the block, gently drawing your low belly in. Ears in line with shoulders. Feel the stretch in the chest. Spread those fingers wide. And here, see if you can do that yogic breath. Just the low belly's engaged, but just imagine the breath going into the belly, mid ribs, upper chest. Exhale, chest, mid ribs, belly. One more round like that. Good. And then fingertips of your left hand, left arm straightens. Fingertips try to reach to where the floor and the wall behind you meet. Keep drawing shoulder blades on the back. And then extend right arm straight up towards the sky. Rotate your right palm to face the left. So your thumb is pointing behind you. See if you can see it's like this. Okay. Low belly in, gently holding the block. All right, now circle your left arm. Big circles with your left arm. Other direction. Good, and now grab a hold of your right bicep. So grab a hold of it. Your thumb is going to be facing the inner arm. Okay, and then try to spiral your inner bicep behind you a little bit, just very gently, very gently. And then bend the right elbow until you can, like you're gonna pat yourself on the back. Couple breaths. Good, inhale, reach both arms up, wiggle the fingers. And exhale, rotate the wrists, swing the arms out to the sides and down. Roll the shoulders. So gently holding the block. We're doing this stuff with the block here. I just want you to keep your legs engaged, your core engaged as you're doing this. Once again, bend the elbows, fingertips touch. Inhale, part the fingertips. And then come back in, try it again if your shoulders are up to your ears. Or keep them relaxed. And then open up. And then here we go, cactus. Breathing into the chest, collarbones, broad chest. Ears in line with shoulder. And now straighten right arm. And try to swing that arm back behind you till where the floor and the wall meet. Try to reach the fingertips to that area. Keep the chest open. Tummy engaged. And then extend your left arm towards the sky. And that left palm is facing to the right, so your thumb is pointing back behind you. Reach, reach, reach. Almost like you're breathing into that right pec. And now circling the right arm. Nice, easy circles. Couple circles this direction. Couple circles that direction, other way. Okay, and then grab a hold of the left upper arm. Thumb is going to wrap around the inside of the bicep. And then rotating, use that hand to help rotate the inner arm towards the wall behind you, that left inner arm. Go into it slowly. And then bending left elbow, ears in line with shoulders. Couple breaths. Good, and then release. Rolling the shoulders, both directions. You can remove your block, and now on its widest level, no, excuse me, on its narrowest level, if you can, go wide if this doesn't work for you. But you're going to hold the block with your forearms and have your palms face you. So your thumbs are pointing away from each other. Bring the elbows down and then draw the shoulder blades together on your back. And you want to have the tops of the shoulders away from the ears. Now, gently hold the block here. Some of you might just stay here, feeling the shoulder blades come on to the back of the body, feeling maybe a nice lengthening quality in the sides of the neck and the tops of the shoulders, gazing forward, ears over shoulders. Some of you may decide to lift the block any amount while keeping all this to deepen. 3 more breaths. Okay, release. You can put the block down, roll the shoulders, both directions. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Couple breaths here. You're welcome to rest your fingertips on the block if that's feeling nice. Gaze between the knees. Let your head just hang. And let the weight of your head traction your spine. If you're not sure if you've completely let go of your head, you could just kind of wiggle it a little bit. Let the neck take a break. It works so hard. Couple more breaths in this forward fold. Releasing the tension in the back plane of the body. Last breath. Good. And then from here, if you like a downward dog, you could transition to a downward dog. But we're all going to meet in Sukhasana, or cross-legged position on the floor. So take your time coming down to the floor. Do have a blanket nearby. We're going to sit on that blanket. Pillow would work too. I'd just like you to have your hips a little bit higher. You're going to sit cross-legged with the right shin in front and have your block nearby. Okay, so right shin in front. The knees are potentially a little closer together than you're used to. If you like to sit cross-legged with the knees really wide, we're going to get into our hips now. So knees a little closer. Have the block in front of you, and then just slowly slide the block forward until you fold over your crossed shins. So I have my block on the second highest setting. Some of you might want to bring it on a higher setting, and I'm having you do this so that you can let your head be in line with your upper arm. So the ears are in line with your shoulders as you're folding forward. Nice. And if you like this stretch, if you're feeling good with the ears in line with the shoulders, please keep going. For the next 3 or 4 breaths, we just want to really open up that right hip. So if this is taking away from your hip stretch, Go ahead and release the hands to the mat or wherever you need to go. And I encourage you to move around a little bit too. Maybe walk the hands off to the left a little bit to deepen the stretch. Got about 2 more breaths. Good, and then come on up. We'll do the second side. Left shin in front of right. Beginning with the block if you used it last time. So folding forward, arms are straight. So you get a really nice spinal extension. I'm hoping that this will help you feel taller when class is over. Breathing into the tight spots. Breathing out what you no longer need. And then if for the last handful of breaths, if you want to remove the block and then just really go for that hip stretch, please do. Again, the hands would be on the floor in front of you, or to go even deeper, you walk your hands off to the right. Nice and easy breath. Good, and then slowly come back through center. Come on up to sit. And just a quick neck roll. So broad chest, sit tall, and head tilts to the left. And just take a moment to really release the weight of your head to the left while maintaining a broad chest, relaxed face. Keep the head tilting to the left, but turn your head to the left so that the chin comes towards the left shoulder. You're looking at the left side of the mat now. Good, and then rolling the chin to the chest. Pause there. Head comes back through center. Second side. Head releases to the right. So right ear hangs heavy towards that right shoulder. Keep lifted in the chest. You've got a vertical spine and a soft face. Now slowly turning the head so that you're looking at the floor. Chin towards right shoulder. Soft jaw, soft tongue. And then rolling chin to chest. Pause there. Slowly lifting head. Okay, so we're going to take our relaxation pose, well, any way you like to take relaxation pose, or you can end class the way we started with this rolled up blanket. So this is a nice way to just continue to encourage the chest to stay open and stretch, help reinforce all this opening that we did earlier. And you would roll up a nice kind of a thin roll, but it'd be enough thickness so that it slightly elevates your heart away from the mat. And then the shoulders can hang down on either side of this roll. Just remember that your bottom is on the floor. And then your mid to upper spine is supported by the blanket. Press the elbows into the mat and walk the shoulder blades flat underneath you, and then release the backs of the hands to the mat as you stretch your legs out long. Let the feet just swap open. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Scan from your head down through your neck, shoulders, arms. Just check and see, is there any more releasing, relaxing you can do? Releasing, relaxing the chest, the belly, the pelvis, the heads of the femur bones are heavy. The feet, the toes, the hands. Take a big breath in and hold it for the count of 3. Open the mouth side out. Shavasana. you'd like to stay longer and can, please do. If you need to move on with the rest of your day, start to wiggle the fingers and toes. And then moving into a morning stretch, like you just woke up for the first time. And then slowly rolling to one side and taking your time coming to a seat of your choice. Bringing our palms together in front of our heart. If you'd like to dedicate your practice to someone special, visualize them now, see their face. And then we're going to gather up all the goodness on the inhale and send it out on the exhale. As you're ready, inhale. Send it out. And now you see them feeling strong, relaxed, spacious, open, good in their body, heart, and mind. Thank you so much for your practice today. Namaste.